No rights.
So,
Welcome back.
this week,
This week we're looking at some of the more advanced tools that would be ideal for you guys to have if you've got the budget. Basically,
yeah,
you don't always need the cheap stuff. You don't always need most
expensive stuff.
Yeah, but you need stuff that'll do the job.
So this collection has taken Tom. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other since third year, so we've known each other probably seven or 8 years.
Close to 8 years. So this collection has gathered over 8 years, and I have a very similar collection of the same stuff.
Yep. Difference is I've got access to all mine. I can use it.
Yeah, mine's spread across 2 sheds. It's no good at the minute.
But it's more of the basic sheet metal stuff that we use. We're going to talk about the pan brake, guillotine, the rollers, and then some more, even slightly more specialised, but they're also not of the higher end, I guess, in the cost scale.
No.
They're definitely not. We definitely didn't spend a lot of money on them.
No, everything's been picked up second hand. Apart from everything's large.
Three items. Yeah, there's probably 3 specialised tools that are second hand.
Yeah.
That aren't second hand, sorry.
Yeah.
I've actually bought new. So we'll start
over there. Yeah, we'll go over there.
Yeah.
Right. To the first machine. Very handy tool.
Hold a lot of weight. They're low rated, don't you know?
Kid just asked that Facebook comment I put up about my wagon. Everyone thought I was using them as jack stands.
I find it's jack stands.
What's your first one here, mate?
Go with the saw. Bandsaw. So, again, I picked this up second hand. I got it for a ripper deal. I wasn't saying no. It is a used saw. It was probably 10 years old when I got it, and it hasn't had an easy life since. But I've never changed the blade in it since I've had it, and I've had it 3 years. I did have to change the hydraulic on it, but that's the only thing I've had to change. They tend to just collapse on themselves eventually and the spring breaks, but they're a serviceable part.
So this is a horizontal?
This is a horizontal bandsaw, yep.
You can also get them in vertical.
Yep. Zach has a vertical bandsaw.
Yep.
Which might be included in this video.
We'll see how we go.
So it's quite obvious this is blades down, blade is up on a vertical.
So obviously the difference, like a vertical is good for cutting cheap metal, thicker plate, flat bar, things like that.
Yep. Yeah, if you need to do like a curve in a piece of plate.
Yeah, as you've seen me
vertical
do
bandsaw.
In previous videos, whereas the horizontal is more for cutting pipe, tube.
All that. It cut 90% of the steel that this shed is made out of, even these large pieces of PFC. These are a 230 PFC, which is right on the limit for that saw. I don't even know if there's photos of when we cut that, but it was jerry rigged up properly to cut.
Yeah.
It's done a great job. Not the most expensive. They do definitely get well and truly into the thousands of dollars. These brand new, I think Saks just bought one. I think it was about $2.5 grand, $3 grand. So it was in there somewhere.
So there are cheaper ones, but they don't run coolant.
Yes.
If you want to cut stainless and stuff, I'd definitely go for a coolant fed model.
Even if you're not cutting stainless, it doesn't matter what you're cutting. Something that has a coolant pump attached
is always going to be better.
Is way better. Second item, beer fridge.
Yep.
TV.
Yep.
Facebook Marketplace is your go-to place. That come from the house. That was from a clearing sale in a closed workshop, and I got it for nothing. Stocked always.
Always.
Ignore the fireplace because it's for the house. TIG welder. AC/DC TIG welder. Not the band, the frequency.
Yep. So
I use this for all our aluminium and all our stainless, occasionally mild steel. One of those boxes that we spoke about in previous episodes, getting started, or getting finished. This is probably start of the road when you're talking AC/DC machines. I bought it 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was. Cost me about $1,800.
I just bought a different brand.
That SWS.
And it was I think 1,900 delivered.
Yeah. So normally with your AC/DC machines, they're going to start plus 1,600, and then again, sky's the limit. But get what you can afford. Not every machine's the same. They all behave a little bit differently. This machine's quite versatile. I've got a lot of adjustment through it. The newer version of this is a tiny little faceplate. It's about half the size of this machine, and it has just as much adjustment in it. I use one of those at work. Great machine. But shout out to Unimig for making a half decent machine. Pedestal linisher or bench grinder.
Yep.
So it's got a grinding wheel on there. That's a fine stone for me because I don't really use it for heavy shit. I prefer to use the linisher. That's an attachment you buy and it bolts on. Sometimes you'll get the machine with 2 stones on it, or you can get a wire wheel. There's a heap of different versions, but
I've got 3 at home. One like this, one with polishing, and then polishing. One with wire wheel.
Yep. I do need to buy a second one. Again, these are probably, I think I spent $600 on this Abbott and Ashby.
Really good. Tools. And that's made by Multi-Tool.
Yep. And it's a direct bolt on. It bolts straight on and off you go. It does have the ability to have like a surface pad on that side, and you can have like a little table stand. I've never needed the use for it.
Do you want to show the people the trick on how to get the belts off really easily? This was life changing. Put your hand through here.
Hold it down. Zach might have to come around the other side. There's a little toggle in here. It locks in. Belt comes off. And then just
belt goes on.
Belt comes off. Belt goes on.
That was life changing, wasn't it?
Oh, best thing I had to use this morning. And there is an adjuster on there because your belt will always move.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's all the way on that side. Yeah. But as he spins it up, pulls true.
Move. So you got to make sure you keep it true. That's that one. Again, starting, you can buy them with bloody super cheap. You can get them dirt cheap, or you can start. Sky's your limit. They come up to big 3-phase units, and they're like gonna rip your face off.
If you want to like load it right up, but you're gonna want to have a look at what wattage you've got. So it's 900 watt.
Yeah. In all honesty, if I was going to use a linisher full time on this, I'd probably be looking for something 1,000 plus, like 1,500 watts.
Yeah.
Something with a good amount of herbs on it. It does bog down, but in saying that, it's a great machine. I use it for polishing stainless. Next is the Guillotine. You saw me fix this back up during spicy cough times. It's a great addition to my shed now. I use it all the time. Zach will come around and use it all the time.
Just because I can't get to my own.
It's super handy. Zach bought this machine, as I said previously, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He did nothing with it. I ended up buying it off him. I did nothing with it.
I moved to Sydney and I didn't have anywhere to put it in the interim, so.
That's right. But I ended up getting it. Like I said, I fixed it up. Still probably
he got it cheap too.
I covered your costs.
Yeah.
I've probably spent, including the cost of the machine, it probably cost me $1,000.
Yep.
And that's including buying that new motor for it.
So what was 3-phase and now it's single?
Yep. It doesn't have, like when I turn it on, the lights dim, but that's purely just when it starts. It should really have
like a D-curve breaker on it.
Exactly right. It should have a start-stop solenoid switch on it. At the moment, I just turn it on at the wall. It's not the perfect situation, but
it does the job for me.
Does the job. It also needs a bit more readjusting now. Now that I've used it a lot more, it's just sort of come a little bit out of adjustment, but I'll probably tune that up in my own time. Again, great machine.
So this one is 1200 wide.
It's actually it's a frag wider because it's a 4-foot machine. So I think it's 1300 cutting space.
Yep. So they go up into 8 foot, and I think I've seen,
I know for work we saw like 3 meter, 4 meter ones too.
When I was an apprentice, we worked on a 4.5 meter machine.
Yeah.
And that was pretty wild.
So space is going to limit you as to what size you can buy.
And in all honesty, this is probably a little bit big for this shed, just because it runs the motor. It's quite a deep machine, but I'm making it work.
You always need that depth at the backside anyway to put sheet through. I
should have moved it because I'm restricted by the pole some days, but it is what it is. I can get it out. I can get my pallet jack under it and move it if I have to.
Alright.
But that's that. Again, they're not making this machine anymore. AP lever don't exist. You can't buy spare parts for it. You can get them serviced still, but you pay a fortune to service them, sharpen them, etc. Keep them maintained. So just Zach runs a treadle guillotine, so it still has like a foot lever, but it's way up here, and it's all reliant on your
body weight
and the leverage to cut, whereas mine is powered.
There is conversions for it.
There is conversions, and those treadle guillotines still work great. Like they wouldn't not make them for a reason.
Yeah.
Beverly shear or throatless shear. This is a throatless, and the way it means throatless because the pivot is off to one side, so your material slides through here. You're normally only cutting little narrow strips off, and they just sort of curl up there like a pigtail. Pretty cheap machine from Heron Forbes. I bought that at their end of financial year sale, so I got it from Absolute Steel, and it works great. I haven't adjusted it at all. Everyone comments, oh, it's a bit loose, but it's fine. It's great. Next, second-hand selection of
finally used machines.
Used machinery. This cost me a 6-pack. It cost me all of $14 from a previous employer. It still needs this fixed. It had the faceplate broken off, and on the back there's like a solenoid that I had to reattach. The lid's a bit bent up, you know, it's been used, it was in a workshop, it's been broken, blah blah blah. But
it drills holes.
It drills holes. It's got a little bit of run out, but it drills holes. It's good for doing those larger hole saws or through thicker plate.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like holding onto it with your hand and your pistol drill.
How many horsepower is it?
Some.
Some?
Some. Is it correct? I think it's a 1/2 horsepower motor. 13 speed, you know, it's like a truck, it's a spicer. It's all bent up, but it drills holes. You can pick these up from Total Tools, Sing Tools. You know, you might pay upwards of $1,000, but you can get them pretty cheap, and so on.
So things to go with it.
Go and buy yourself a clamp set again.
Because it's got a T-slot base.
It does have a T-slot base.
Not all drill presses will have a T-slot base.
That's how that works. You know, that goes on, clamp it down, off you go. Definitely worth having a vise. Again, I bought the vise and the T-clamp set in a financial year sale. Thank you, Heron Forbes. At the same time, I bought the shear. Worth having. Worthy investment.
Bead roller.
Australian-made bead roller.
Speedworks.
Speedworks.
Doesn't really need explaining.
No.
We've explained
Seldom seen racing or whatever they are, but Speedworks bead roller. This is a 620mm throat. It's hand powered. You've seen us use it multiple times. I've actually had dies made up by my local engineering shop. They're about $200 each to get made up, but the sky's the limit on price. It depends on what they want to charge. I just supplied them with like a 2D drawing and got another set of dies back, and it was great. Super handy machine for putting beads in. You've seen the floors. It's self-explanatory.
Wheel, you've seen us explain this too.
Yep. Come with lower dies, upper and lower dies. I probably need to go back through and mirror polish all my dies again. I don't have a lathe. I should really get them done properly. I just make do with what I've got. I actually do them on my linisher with a brown belt and just clean them up. I bought that secondhand off eBay and drove to
Picton, I think it was.
Yeah, the back of Picton to pick it up. Old mate was moving and didn't have space for it, and I showed up and took it off his hands. Great machine. Again, not expensive. Heron Forbes, they're like $600-700.
There's a few now.
Yeah, they make a few different versions. I've noticed this one's got a bit of flex because it's a bent piece of tube, but you really have like a flat bar brace on it because I get a little bit of lift out of it, but it does the job. I'm not using it full time. If it was full time, I'd buy one of them big, you know, Melomotive looking ones.
Yeah.
shrinker and stretcher. Zach will have to zoom in here to get a good view. We've tried to explain how this works before. So it's got the shrinking dies in, and as they come down, they bite, and then they pull towards the center. So it actually pulls the material in. This is a cheap machine, but I'm glad I bought it. Kaka, I don't know where they're based. I'm thinking they're some Indo-Pacific Asian company. I don't know. They have a Australian dealer in Melbourne, and this was $320, not with the stand, for a hand stretcher with the shrinking and stretching dies.
So you can buy that English wheel, feed roller from Kaka as well.
Yeah, you can get, well, yeah, most of these people do everything
Different
as well.
versions.
Heron Forbes do a version, Heron Forbes do a version, you know, like everyone has their own versions of stuff.
By all means, shop around.
Shop around and buy what you can afford. Like I said, that was $320. I knocked the stand up out of a piece of spare tube I had floating around. I'm going to convert that eventually.
Floating around.
Yeah, I did. Work lent it to me. Lent.
Long-term borrow.
Yeah. I'm eventually going to convert that into a kick stretcher. I've got a set of Heims and I've put a hole in it, blah, blah, blah. It'll make it easier to use as a single.
So at the moment, unless you've got two people here, you're trying to hold the piece with one hand and work the handle at the same time.
It's hard to do, especially because it's not bolted down. I have done it. I make it happen.
My one's a kick one, but mine's still in the box.
Ah. Next up is the pan brake. I bought this second hand with a second machine. I actually went to look at the second machine originally. The second machine was broken. I only paid $400 for it. Both were John Hine. I fixed the other machine, and then I was talking to the guy that owned this, who I bought the machines off. I said, "What are you doing with it? Do you want to sell it?" He made me a pretty fair price, so I bought the pair. They're extremely heavy. They're extremely front heavy, top heavy. They're nasty to move, but it's worth it.
This one's 1800.
Yeah, this is a 6 foot machine.
6 foot in the old term.
It's a good size for me at home. It's not impossible to use, especially as one person. You know, it's a little bit hard to clamp and put stuff in, but it does have fingers.
I'll tell you now, mine's 8 foot.
And when you're trying to work on something at this end and the lever's down there,
Yeah.
it's no fun.
No.
But it's got fingers. Yours is fingers as well?
Yes.
Oh yes, it does. Zach's is a slightly different design. It's actually more raked, has a bit more clearance under the die.
Mine's what they call a kneader folder.
Yep, mine is quite shallow, but I can still fold 4-sided boxes in there, as long as the depth is no greater than from this to the folding point.
So one thing we'll note now is that there's like 2 versions of this. One's called a pan brake, one's called a box brake. We just call them pan brakes because it's simple.
They all work in the same. They're all the same design.
All the same principle. So the difference between them is segmented fingers versus solid blade.
Yes, the second machine I bought was an 8 foot machine, John Hine, and it had a single length blade. It was one size suits all.
So you cannot take it off, you can't fold boxes, you can't fold stuff like that.
It was for flashings.
If you're looking for one, look for one with fingers.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely look for one with fingers. Also look for one that's complete, in good order. This one probably needs a little bit of love eventually, like there's a bit of slop in all the parts. It wasn't looked after by a previous owner, but that's how they go. This is an old machine. John Hine actually still exist. They don't make machines or sell machines, but they still exist.
They're just a casting factory.
Yep, that's exactly what they are.
Down in Bankstown. They're next door to Dunlop.
Yeah. They do still have a service agent, but
Yep.
I have spoken to him. He said, you know, do this and that previously. But yes, if you're looking for a second-hand machine, try it. Look out for a better brand. The John Hine and the AP lever stuff, all Australian made. It's legitimately
It's
good
really
stuff.
nice stuff.
It is. Like I said, this machine's not been loved.
Yep.
It still does the job. It also is missing the counterweight. The previous owner made the counterweight and fixed the handle. So if anyone has a counterweight for one of these, let me know, because this is just like full of like lead and bits of scrap.
Yeah.
And it's not actually counterweighted, right?
Makes a hell of a noise every time.
It actually makes it really hard to fold. So when it's, what we're talking about counterweight is the weight of this whole apron here is supposed to be the same as the counterweight. And as the counterweight swings, it makes it like a neutral lift.
Whereas that is a moving weight inside of it.
And it's not the
So
same weight.
once you get to like 45, it goes.
Everyone knows what a pressure washer is. Go and buy yourself one. Second hand, brand new, I don't care.
Yep.
I've had that 10 years and it gurneys absolutely everything I own and does a good job. Go and buy one. It's also got a soap bucket in it if you're that inclined. Dolly jack. The boys used to laugh at me because I used to do everything with a bowl jack, which is down beside the machine there. That still does the job, don't get me wrong. And that's great.
But
8-ton bowl jack.
But how much easier is that?
This is a lot easier. I held out for a long time.
So these one, I think this one's a Costco one.
It damn right is a Costco one.
I have 2 Costco ones.
Zach's are actually better Costco ones because they're slightly lower profile and they're a frag longer. But 800 kilos for like
180, 200 bucks, I think.
yeah, I think 200 bucks. I shopped around. I went and looked at Total Tools one, Repco, blah. This was the best value for money I found. You do need a membership to buy it, but worth the investment.
You're $260 for a jack, and a year at Costco is not bad. You will get sucked into the loophole of like buying 200 kilos of meat and that as well. But
yeah, look, when you're buying 45 muffins at a time, it's fine.
so what goes with the jack is jack stands.
These are definitely cheap jack stands. That's the standard pin style. You know, put the pin in, off you go. I think these are 1,000 or 2,000 kilo rated. I don't know because it's rubbed off. We use them all the time. They're good if you look after them. They do tend to rock a bit. Just be careful when you're setting them up. Make sure they're flat. Make sure the car comes down flat, or they don't. They go like this, and then you're dead.
Those ones rock a lot more than the that other style.
Yeah.
The flat plates rock more than the feeded ones.
Yeah. They are still good. There's nothing wrong with them. Just use them on flat surface. And then you've got the adjustable ones. They're 2-ton rated. You know, they've got a ratchet. Just make sure the ratchet's locked in. They don't rock as much as Zach said. Oh, these ones have a pin too.
Yeah.
That's a locking pin. There you go.
More you know.
Put the locking pins in. And if you're underneath the car, it sucks crawling around on your back. I personally don't have a great back, and lying on the cold concrete hurts after a little while. Definitely makes me feel older than I am. But
That does the opposite for my back. It makes my back feel real good.
yeah. Buy yourself a creeper.
Yeah.
This was a Christmas present, I think, for me. So I don't even know how much it cost, but again, doesn't matter what you spend. Get one. Make sure it's low profile. Worth it. Lifting. You've got to do safe lifting, guys. We do some gnarly shit, but most of the time it's fairly safe, I suppose.
Yeah.
This is a 2-ton block and tackle with a 3-meter chain on it. I probably use it and do stuff with it that I probably shouldn't, but it's overkill for what I'm using. I could pick a whole car up with this and, you know, off we go.
We've even used these to pull cars on trailers with.
Yep, they work. It doesn't,
As
horizontal,
a winch.
vertical, it doesn't matter. If you're going to buy one, think about what you're going to use it for and then overdo it. Go the next size up. Because you'd rather be safe than sorry.
So I have a motor that's a 1-ton motor.
The 1-ton block and tackle doesn't like it.
No. So I bought a 3-ton block and tackle.
Yeah. Like I said, 2-ton, 3-meter lift, you can get 2-ton, 6-meter. Just depends on what sort of height access you got, etc., etc.
To go with that,
hook,
lifting slings.
yes, these are all rated lifting slings. I'm a licensed dogman. I wouldn't ever buy anything that doesn't have a tag on it. And when it, with that tag, it should have AS 4497 on it.
Yeah.
That is Australian standard. That is an Australian standard rated sling. These are 2-ton 1 meters. I've got 2-ton 2 meters.
They're also really good for towing shit, like cars that don't move.
But they're not snatch straps.
No.
don't like load them up.
No.
Because they will explode.
Yeah, they're full of fibre. Like a woven fibre inside.
I've got some busted ones. These are second hands that I confiscated from the workshop. I only use them for odd jobs, but that's what's in there. They're like a really fine fibre. They're really strong.
So you snatch on that,
that's what happens.
tears all the fibres.
So it's an outer sheath, and then once that outer sheath is torn, throw them out. The only reason I keep those is for just in case, or if I need to do something that I'm not worried about the sling getting broken off.
D-shackles.
Going by rated D shackles. Again, you can't not overkill them. These aren't the biggest shackles, but they're still 2-ton rated. And they work perfectly fine for what I'm using them for.
Little trick with them too. Quarter turn off once you've turned it up.
Yeah, do it all the way up, get it tight, and back it out.
Otherwise they don't come back
They don't come back out easily. They're a pain. Again, you can get bigger shackles. You always see the recovery kits, you know, big 3/4 ton rated shackles.
Alright.
Sky's the limit.
Last item.
Nah, second last.
Second last? Oh yeah.
Second last. Rollers. These are a German brand called Cylinder. Spelled that way, not as we would know it. Triangulated rollers. They have a pinch point and a roll at the back which controls the depth.
Up and down.
You can spend these, I think, are about $4,000 new. I again got these second hand from a previous employer. They cost me $1,000 in overtime, which is pretty cheap. They were, like I said, they're in a workshop. They have been used hard. There is pitting in them. Oh, it's not pitting, but there is like indentations in them. They're still really good. You can use them for rolling round bar.
Mine were $200 off Marketplace.
Exactly. Shop around. You're not going to find these tools just by
sitting there waiting for you to come to them.
Yeah.
And you want to be quick. If you know you want it,
you've got to have the cash ready and you've got to be prepared to go and pick it up.
Yeah.
You need block and tackles. You need all your gear to go.
Yeah. They don't hang around for very long.
Right, and they are heavy. These are 600 kilos. And they're a pain in the ass to move. I actually put mine on casters. Casters probably aren't the ideal solution for this one. It's not great to roll, but it's a lot easier to store. Makes it easier for me to get it in and out on my own. I definitely use them all the time. You see us use them on the Valiant. Look after your equipment too, guys. Make sure you keep it oiled, otherwise it ends up looking like that. It gets all surface rust, you get marks on your machines, marks on your jobs. Look after them.
Last item.
Last item, air compressor and an air hose. I don't have a retractable hose. It's definitely something I need to buy. That's a half decent air compressor, triple cylinder, 320 litres, free air delivery.
Price is still on it.
The tag is still on it. I did not pay that price from Total Tools. I got it a little bit cheaper because it was the last on the floor. But you get what you pay for. I could probably spray paint with that car, but I'm not a spray painter. It does the job.
The one we got at home's about the same size.
Yeah.
Goes fine on the gun.
This has a water separator on it. That's why I actually bought it. There's 2 outlets and a water separator on it from Total Tools. I really dig that. It mean I didn't have to outlay more cost to get that, etc.
It is one thing that we would recommend. Air tools and stuff have a tendency to seize up.
Yep.
There's moisture in the air and it pulls it through the compressor and puts it into your air.
Yeah, and the inside of your air tools gets all rusty. You should
also
always lubricate your tools.
Drain your tank.
Have not drained the tank. But in saying that, it doesn't get used a lot.
Yep.
I normally
turn it on, build it up, and that's enough.
Yeah, I normally build charge for me. Yeah, exactly. And I might have just leave it there charged for 2 weeks. And once it's empty, then I turn it back on. You probably saw when we were doing that Chevy wagon, we had it running full time. It, cut in and out. Does its thing.
All right.
That's pretty much it. You get what you pay for, guys. Don't expect to get quality jobs with cheap tools. Don't expect to get it with expensive tools either.
You still got to have a basic understanding of how to use them.
You really do. If you have any more questions, If there's anything you think we should add,
Hit us in the comments.
put it in the comments.
So again, no code word this week.
No.
Comment what your favourite tool in your shed is.
Yeah, yeah. Comment on what your favourite tool is, what you get the most use out of, or tell us what you're going to buy next.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a pan brake? Are you looking for rollers? You know, tell us what your next big ticket item is for your advanced tooling.
Chuck it in the comments and
We'll pick a winner.
send
Two
you out.
winners maybe.
Yeah, 2 winners, and
Two
we'll send
winners.
you out sticker packs.
And reminders, guys, if we comment on your comment with an email address, you need to reply to us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to win anything.
There's a few outstanding there. So.
There is a few outstanding.
Right.
Go back, check your previous comments, guys.
All right. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Shed's pretty